Ladies, gentlemen, and others, welcome back to Boz Comics. I know. I fucking I disappeared right at the cusp of true comic YouTube stardom. Not really, although I did break 50 subscribers, which is something I never thought would happen. That was pretty. It's pretty awesome. I had set that goal for myself. I was like, I'm gonna hit 50 subs. Excuse me, by the end of October. And I didn't actually think it was going to happen, and then it did. And in fact, in my absence, it has gone from 50 to 53, which is, a mere pittance in terms of YouTube numbers, a pittance among pittances, in fact. But for me, it was kind of a big deal. Also, no webcam today because nobody seemed to complain in the last video, and the last video did quite well. The fact of the matter is I was kind of embarrassed again looking at it. I don't mind being on camera, but I think the aesthetic of my house just kind of really clashes with the whole, comic YouTube aesthetic. So I think I do have a nice green screen. I'm waiting on some new lights. And I think that when I can get I live in a literal log cabin, as some of you may have seen. And the wood in this place eats light for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So once I've got some real studio lights in here that I can use for this and for other projects, I will probably try to get my face back on camera. Less because I think that people really want to see my bearded growl, or grimacing face. But I just, I think it'll help people connect with me more overall. I think it'll humanize me more. I think that's important, especially when I'm going to be pissing people off. Also, I just like the idea of giving you guys something more graphical to look at than just listening to these little micro podcasts. But anyway, so yeah, back to the original format just for today. It'll probably change again sometime soon in the future. But I wanted to talk to you about breaking 50 and also where the fuck I've been. Because it is true, right as things really started to take off for this channel, I just kind of up and vashed. What was that about? Now, this is my second time trying to record this video. The first time, I just recently factory reset my computer. I do that sometimes if things aren't quite working quite right, or shit's gotten super cluttered up and I'm too lazy to do it any other way. I'll just factory reset the whole thing. Well, I did that, and then I forgot to change my mic settings over so that it recorded properly in both ears for you guys. Yada yada yada. I'm stupid sometimes. So, I went through all that. It just wasn't right. I didn't like it. So we're doing it again. maybe take two will be better. Who knows? Okay. Come on, boss. Let's get going here. Jesus. So, right as things had really started to get good, I kind of took off. And the reason for that was quite simple. I was already worrying about my success this early in the game. So a bit of background. When I had started this channel, very, very, very initially, I think the first video I ever did was a video about it was like a film review of the movie Shazam. And then I after that, I had done a couple of just topical videos about the nature of comic books. The plan at the time was that I kind of, so you guys know that I come from Comicsgate originally. I've spoken about that before. I used to be really sympathetic to OG Comicsgate, but I've also been very critical of them over the last year or so, because I think they've just really, as a movement, it's really fallen apart, lost its way. What it represents now, I find just absolutely fucking ridiculous and not very based, if you will. I don't subscribe to the idea that it was always a hate movement and it was always, the worst thing ever. But I do think it's gotten pretty gross, pretty toxic. And the whole, the fact that it seems to kind of be this endless train for people to jump onto, to fund Indiegogos. That's the short of it. Right. I'm just not, I always wanted Comicsgate to be more about reclaiming beloved characters and kind of holding the industry accountable and trying to up the quality of everything, as opposed to just, being part of a money making machine. I don't know, but I got pretty disenfranchised with Comicsgate, and I found that a lot of the criticisms that were coming out of Comicsgate were getting shot down because they were being associated with hatred and bile. Sometimes that negative response was warranted, other times not. When I say that negative response, I mean the response that when people would talk shit about Comicsgate, right? When they would get a really bad vibe about Comicsgate, sometimes their negative response to Comicsgate would be pretty warranted. Other times, I think it was a lot of pearl clutching. But especially after the first year or two, I think people, like I said, Comicsgate really lost the plot. So that negativity I felt was pretty warranted. And so I'm a fucking filthy leftist myself, and I didn't see a lot of left-leaning voices in Comicsgate. It really did seem largely to be like a right-wing conservative movement, and I was like, okay, but I do care about what's happening to some of these classic characters. I feel some of them are being replaced. I feel like some of these more topical social issues are being implemented very poorly in the books that are coming out. I feel the overall quality of the books sucks, and I feel like the way we're treating some customers is pretty ridiculous. However, I feel like you guys are making terrible arguments. You have no sense of how to empathetically Sorry, that was a controller hitting the floor because my cat hates me. No, they actually love me. They just like to cause mischief. You guys have no idea about how to empathetically present your arguments. So somebody who speaks lefty should step up, God damn it, and do the thing. So that's kind of where, after the first couple of videos, that's kind of where I decided I wanted to be coming from. I did a stint. I did videos for about 2 weeks pretty consistently, maybe 3. Then I took a break, and then I started doing videos again pretty consistently. And the second time out, I really focused in on SEO, and I adopted a standard look for all my thumbnails, so it was all pretty uniform. And I really focused in on SEO. I went really in depth with my descriptions. And I tried to grab topical stuff, really relevant, keyword relevant stuff, wherever I could, so that people would find my videos. And it's really, you guys can see it's worked. I'm still nothing on YouTube, but you can see the growth. The strategy was working. Right. And so we all know that YouTube features, we're getting to the point, I swear to God. If you have been a fan of this channel for any length of time, I'm really bad at that. But so, YouTube really favors watch time. That's their thing. YouTube wants to keep you on the site for as long as possible. So engagement is paramount. Of course, no matter what kind of content you are making, if you want to grow your platform, you really want to push for engagement. So that had been what I was trying to do. With my new improved focus on the channel and how I was doing things going forward. But the thing is the topical videos, the stuff about politics in the industry and how I felt about certain important issues, or these more philosophical discussions, these discussions of big ideas. Those weren't doing nearly as well as Spider-Man videos. Spider-Man videos were the big fucking thing. Every time I made a Spider-Man video, it would do pretty fucking well, 50 to 100 views, which again is nothing in YouTube standards, but comparatively 5 to a dozen views if I'm lucky when I make a video about Gantz or whatever. Or some indie book, right? People want to see this shit. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not fucking calling people plebs for wanting to, see cool comic book reviews of Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. I've said that before. He's a huge part of my life. I'll talk about fucking Spider-Man all day. But, as the channel was growing, I was kind of in this position where I was well, I want to keep the growth going. So I guess I have to keep talking about Spider-Man. And things like it. Mostly it's been Spider-Man for me. Spider-Man and the Kindred stuff, the Last Remain stuff. That's where the big success for me has been. And I was shit. But I was realizing I don't want to talk about it if I have to talk about it. Right? I want to do other stuff. I want to talk about some of these other like political issues in the industry. I want to talk about like obscure books from the back catalog. I've like 6 shelves, I think, of like graphic novels. I got tons of stuff I'd love to talk about. I want to talk to you guys more about like The Bounce, right? There's some manga I really want to discuss. Shit like that. I'd love to incorporate more anime on the channel like I did. But again, like nobody like fucking watched my ReZero video. As opposed to like all the Spider-Man stuff. Spider-Man stuff always like goes between like 50 to 100 easy. And I'm like, shit. There's also this thing we saying about like, people are subscribing, and they're subscribing like because of the Spider-Man shit. And the Spider-Man shit is what gets the watch time. It's what gets the views. So I didn't get into this like making comic videos on YouTube because I wanted to be popular, not even because I wanted to be popular within the niche. That's not really what this is about. This isn't me saying like, oh shit, I can't get popularity based on the stuff I really care about. The issue is if I want to talk about more serious issues within the industry, if I really want to pursue this idea of kind of being like a kind of a more level-headed fan who has criticisms, but is also, pretty left-leaning. So I understand a lot of where these creators are coming from, and I respect their visions, and I'm interested in this shit. But I also don't want to be like this fucking squeaky clean. I don't want to be a comic story, and I don't want to be a comic pop. Comic pop I love, but I also don't want to be anything like them because they're so embedded in the mainstream comic book industry. Same thing with Rob from Comics Explained. I love Comic Pop's back issues, but like the fact is, like the closer they get with like mainstream professionals and stuff, it's like you guys you're entrenched in your bias now. Your videos are inherently just never going to be as good as they could be from like a critical perspective because you're all wrapped up in that shit. Same thing with like Comics Explained and oh God, Comic Historian I can't stand. I'm sure that Benny overall is a great guy, but he makes me want to vomit. I can't stand his whole personality. I find him so douchey. People talk about, I got into comics because of Comic Historian. I'm like, it's great that you're got into comics, but Jesus, your taste is terrible. I don't want to be like some pop, like squeaky clean pundit like those guys. But I also do want to be like less of a douche than a lot of these like ex-Comicsgater people, right? Because, like I said, I think they lost the plot a long time ago. So I want to be building inroads with the industry. I want to talk to a lot of the indie guys. I'd love to get to a place where I have enough of a following to really platform books that I think are cool. These are like some of the visions I had for the future. Eventually, would I love to fucking crowdfund my own book if I could build up a following? Absolutely. I know I was talking shit about the Comicsgate business model before, and I stand by that, but I'm also not going to lie to you. If I had the opportunity to parlay YouTube success into a comic book, would I? Fuck yes. It's my lifelong dream. I just like to think that I'd be less douchey about it and better about getting my inevitable books out on time. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is like building a platform is important to me, not for the sake of being famous on YouTube because I'm not a child. Building a platform is important to me because I want to fucking reach out with the stuff that I care about. And I was spiraling into this place very early on, nearing 50 views, where I was going, oh, I can't talk about that because nobody will watch that video. What? I don't want to be a YouTuber for the sake of being a YouTuber. I don't want that to be my life. I want YouTube to be a tool that I can use to talk about comic books because comic books are something that mean the world to me. So none of that's changed. Me making this video is not me saying that any of that has changed. Me making this video is just kind of explaining where I've been and how we got there. So I really needed to kind of take a step back and reorient myself. Because I was kind of freaked out, I was kind of having like an internal crisis of faith here. I'm feeling better. I think I'm about ready to come back. There could even be a video tomorrow, but I don't want to make promises to you guys. But I really needed to reorient myself and kind of focus in on what I want. So I guess this is also, if you've watched this long, congratulations, you're awesome and I love you. I think this is like kind of a mission statement for the channel. I'm just kind of affirming to you guys, if all you want is Spider-Man videos, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. If all you want to see on this channel is talk about like the most popular shit, whatever's coming out right now, you're not going to get that here. Will I review comics? Absolutely. Especially like indie stuff. If you can show it to me, right? Like if you can like tell me about like books that you want to see me talk about, I am so there. I would love to. But I need to be. The problem is like YouTube doesn't like stuff that gets low engagement, and the stuff that seems to get the engagement is the stuff that is least interesting to me overall. And I'm just not really willing to compromise myself on what I care about. So I'm just kind of coming at this from the angle now, I guess, of like, it'll be what it'll be, probably. But I wanted to be upfront with you guys about what was happening and where my head was at. I will probably start covering, I think, they're double shipping the Spider-Man books right now, so I probably will go back to doing like Amazing Spider-Man reviews. I like doing those. I just don't want them to be the only thing that matters on my channel. There's one particular kind of multimedia project I'm thinking about doing and bringing forward. More on that as it happens, if it happens. I draw very poorly. But I love trying it. I've tried to learn to draw many times in my life. I've said before, I have a mild case of cerebral palsy. So like, I think that's part of it. I don't draw very well. I really struggle with even like the fundamentals. So, a lot of my drawings still look like a fucking 2-year-old did them. But I'm still trying, cause I don't know when to quit, much like YouTube. If you guys would be interested in seeing some like, non too serious like draw streams, like chill streams, I could do that. I could draw, we could talk. Like I said, more manga, more anime. Of course I would love to do that. I gotta be real with you guys. If you just want pop discussions, it's not gonna happen. I need to be free to do more. And just before this channel got so big and out of control, I just really wanted to be upfront. Because I don't want anybody to be disappointed or get the wrong idea, and I don't want to be disappointed with other people's disappointment. So that's it. That's what I've got. That's where I'm at. Thank you all for understanding, or at least I hope you understand. If my anxiety sounds a little ridiculous to you, I apologize, but I'm one of those like really upfront about my feelings types, oh, fucking leftist, he talks about his feelings, herder. Yeah, whatever. Fuck you. How about that? How's that for talking about my feelings? No, but we'll see where this goes. I'm not giving up just yet. I just wanted to explain to you what happened and where I've been. I think I'm going to be okay. I think we can find a way to make this work. We'll see. I have no idea what tomorrow's video is going to be yet, or if in fact there will be a video tomorrow, but the channel's been growing even in my absence. I feel like I owe it to you guys. We'll see what happens. Leave your comments down below, particularly words of encouragement, because I crave validation, because I'm a piece of garbage. No, there's nothing wrong with wanting validation, kids. No, but your feedback is cool. Commentary is cool. If you have been doing YouTube yourself, no matter what the size of your channel is, if you've experienced something like this, tell me about it. Let me know. Have you felt this kind of way before? If so, how do you deal with it? Thanks so much. Please, if you're interested in seeing more content from me, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Please hit the bell. I would love to have you around. I try to respond to every comment I get. Now, eventually, I'm sure the channel will get big enough that that's impossible. We're a long way off from that yet. At least I imagine we are. So, for the time being, please speak up. Don't be a stranger. I love you very much. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye.